having physical is so important for two fundamental reasons. First off, it's God's money. And when I say God, I'm telling you, the God that created us and this earth, that put it in the ground. And so there's a serious value with it because it takes so much energy to get it out of the ground. I believe there's something special about that, but it's also a sign. It's like every time there's a new law made about weapons and everybody goes out and buys boom sticks. If everybody knows what I'm talking about, all of a sudden the government goes, well, maybe this isn't the time. And that's the exact same thing. It's a weapon, a financial weapon that you're pulling into your arsenal. So it's important. I always say, don't go too big all at once. Diversify. And as one basket of your silver takes off, I dive it into something else. One takes,
As anticipated, inflation figures dictated the trajectory of the gold market this week. The notable event was a significant drop in prices on Tuesday morning, triggered by unexpectedly high CPI data for January. Spot gold, which was per ounce minutes before the announcement, plummeted. Subsequently, prices mainly fluctuated within a narrow $12 range on either side of the $2,000 mark until a minor downturn occurred following Friday morning's PPI release. However, there was a swift but modest recovery followed by a gradual ascent leading into the President's Day-long weekend. Now we'll show you more clips of and his insights on the precious metals markets. But first, subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's get into the video.
Before I let you go.
No, man, you're awesome. I know you're really big on precious metals, as so am I. The only thing I would say is, when people are diving in because they see the fiat currencies collapsing around the world, they're seeing them because inflation's rising. That means the fiat is collapsing in value, right? People tend to go all in on precious metals. Be very careful with that. Just understand, I've done that. I took my entire retirement in 2014. I don't know if you know this. I sold it and put it into physical silver. All right. My timing, I bought my first ounce at $18. I bought my most expensive ounce at 48. Right. And then as it dropped, because of the fundamentals, I kept buying, but it was never at the moment that I wanted to sell. And that's the same thing for all these cycles. It's like you start putting everything into one thing, and then it's like either it tops and comes down, and it's never at that point where you're like, I don't want to sell. Either I still believe in it, or it's not where I was buying it at one time. Be careful when you go all in, but having physical is so important for two fundamental reasons. First off, it's God's money. And when I say God, I'm telling you, the God that created us and this earth, that put it in the ground. And so there's a serious value with it because it takes so much energy to get it out of the ground. I believe there's something special about that, but it's also a sign. It's like every time there's a new law made about weapons and everybody goes out and buys boom sticks. If everybody knows what I'm talking about, all of a sudden the government goes, well, maybe this isn't the time. And that's the exact same thing. It's a weapon, a financial weapon that you're pulling into your arsenal. So it's important. I always say, don't go too big all at once. Diversify. And as one basket of your silver takes off, I dive it into something else. One takes, that's how I do. Anyway, sorry for rambling on, but I'm just really big on diversification. And that's what I'm trying to do, is wake the entire nation up, because if the middle class loses its wealth, we're screwed. We are straight up screwed. Because if we have only oligarchs, and then think about, they love to use the word oligarchs with Russia. Oligarch, and we don't ever really think they were in the moon race. We've actually, we've been in positions where now we're needing them to get to the moon. We used to like to use these words, but let's just say they're all oligarchs and all poor people, right? Super rich and super poor. Well, that's where we're headed as a nation. And if we don't do something about it and wake up and get out of debt as the middle class, and then use debt for good things like, leveraging money under the proper entities, which nobody wants to teach that on YouTube, so that you don't get yourself in trouble if you're over leveraged and then you've destroyed your debt rating, your credit rating, we'll get the nation's wealth back. We'll be able to employ people. That's why we need to start small and medium businesses again. We need to go back to starting barbershops and small restaurants and all of these things. That's what made us great. All the immigrants coming over from Ellis Island and going, some of them didn't even have a name because they didn't speak English. And what's your name? Like, they don't even know how to spell English. But what do you do for a living? I'm a cook. Okay, cool. You're James Cook. People don't remember that. And that's what made our nation great. But now it's all monopolies. big corporations, big pharma, big everything. And people have gotten, and honestly, big government, the largest employer right now in the world, and it's swelling like crazy for a purpose. They are printing money to give people money to make them lazy. And I just left the government. And it was the hardest decision I ever made. But I had to, with conviction, and I don't want to get emotional because this was the hardest decision I ever made, walk away after 23 years. I had 2 years left till I got a retirement. I don't get a retirement, but I truly believe in what I'm saying. Like during a crash or recession, it is the greatest time to start businesses and make money. And so I am going to do that. Whether I get canceled or not, I'm going to try my hardest and I'm going to be an example. No, I completely agree with you. And if real estate, I mean, you look at it, gold was $600 sitting in 2007, 2006. It went to 1,800 and that's.
Now we'll show you more clips of the economic ninja as he delves into his way to the top by taking advantage of diversification and rebalancing of resources to maximize your output. Let's get into the video.
Yeah, so I talk about de-risking your investments all the time, whether it be cryptocurrency, real estate, anything. You have to have, you always put in a certain level of risk, but you want to take away a bunch of the factors that could screw you later on, right? So one of those ways is to always have a game plan. If something turns, I've got my money invested here, let's say it's in real estate. How am I going to exit if something goes bad, like I lost my job or my pay gets cut? Then you at least have options. And when you write those options down, it's like an SOP for your financial life. Most people don't have those. I talk about in one of my courses, have standard operating procedures for your life, for your side hustle. Another thing is we have 7 days in a week. There are a lot of people, as a fireman, I work 3 days a week. I was gone. I lived at the fire station 3 days a week. And if I worked overtime, I was gone for a fourth. But I had a couple days left, 3 days at minimum to work a side hustle. I started with a garage sale. I started selling electric trains. Electric trains turned into me being over a millionaire by the time I was 25 because I turned that money from electric trains into real estate. And I just kept going. So, de-risking your financial portfolio, being completely diversified. I've lost everything that I put into stocks 3 times because I put them all into one stock at a time, whether it be 20,000 or 300,000. I had to learn that lesson 3 times. I'm an idiot when it comes to that. Cryptocurrency broke me of that. You want to have armor, built around you. Go into the cryptocurrency market, and you'll see those wild swings. It'll really make you think twice about, how much leverage you want. But my point being is that that is one thing, diversification. Another thing is starting that little side business. I mean, it's as simple as buying a shirt from Ross. You're like, those are expensive. I just got it 90% off, and flipping it on the internet. It's so simple to turn $10 into 100. You just got to do it. And so those are the things I've been teaching people, and we've seen amazing success. I just, I don't know how to get it out there more. I'm super passionate about it and really excited about all that.
What do you think of today's show? Do you agree with the economic ninja way of living? Would you bet the farm on gold and silver? Post in the comment section down below if you had the guts to risk your whole net worth into one trade, and tell us your price prediction for silver in 2024. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. Share this video with a gold bug and check this video right here because you'll love it. I see you on the other side.